So first thing we're going to be using tonight, thermal imaging. So why would we want thermal imaging inside of a ghost hunt? Anybody? It's interactive.
Yeah. This is typically, I feel like, where you see they're like, look at this shape. That potentially looks like a human or something.
Right.
Ghosts are colder.
Right, thank you. The guy who, yeah, look at him. See, told you, some of you are going to nerd out. We're looking for cold spots, literally. So with this camera, this is a FLIR. So this is the real deal. This is what firemen would attach to their phones to quickly go into a burning building with. So again, this is not a phone app you can download. So you guys can see me in the picture, right? Red, orange, and yellow guy. So that means I'm the warmest thing inside the picture. If you were a bridal party, I would be the hottest thing inside of the picture. So yeah, I have jokes for the drunk girls when they're here on the weekends. But anyway, I make that joke on purpose because I want to make the point of we're looking for blue and black. They're going to be in the frame. However, I'm looking for it to either take shape or to start moving on its own. So when I say take shape, heads, shoulders, moving arms and legs. You guys are getting my point, right? Yeah. So just like you said, it's like something you would see on a shape. So again, when we're actually using this guy, you're going to see us moving around. What we're looking for are people that are not warm, obviously, and moving around with us. Or standing around, kind of watching like, what the hell's Nick up to now? So again, that's kind of the point. The nice thing about your video when you get it back, there's a blue dot that bounces around the screen, giving you the coldest spot in the frame at that particular moment. I also left the sensor crosshairs on there so that way the user can actually measure anything that they want to. I keep track of your ambient temperature from the Weather Channel and all your moon phases on your analysis. So tonight, I think I wrote down 66 degrees. I normally look for cold anomalies of 15 degrees below ambient temperature. So we're looking at 51 degrees and colder. Or obviously, if it goes colder than that, awesome. So the colder to me, the better. So it's set up to white hot, black cold. So that's the way this guy is. We're going to be doing a few starts and last night was the first time I recognized them because I'm here every night. And I was actually trying to use them as part of the investigation. So some of them are on right now, but others are not. So again, as long as we kind of know where they're at, we can try to play with those later on. So that's a new thing that I'm testing out to see if she's going to give us any motion. So welcome to a parking lot. Congratulations, you made it. This is a big one, right? She's like, what the hell are we doing in a parking lot? This place used to be something. It used to be the Eliza and Charles Pinckney Mansion. So it actually sat in the front of this space, facing East Bay Street. Eliza's garden is lined up with Five Church Restaurant over there and came all the way across. And we are standing in the servant slave quarters for the home. So that's kind of giving you the layout of the land. Who the heck were these people? First off, Spirit Box, I am not going to be giving you questions like what color was George Washington's white horse, like what we did with the Big Red Barn. So you're going to get the answers from the Spirit Box. This is where I start withholding information on purpose, so that way you guys actually have a genuine experience. You have no idea what you're listening for, but I will give you some questions you can focus on. So, Charles and Eliza had a son named Charles. They had a nephew named Charles. That's 3 different Chucks, in case you lost count. That's why we look for secondary clues. I need to know which Chuck came to work, if that makes sense. So there's always defining clues about a person other than just their name. But anyway, the son and the nephew were signers of the Constitution for South Carolina. It's a big deal for us. I hate politics, probably more than anybody here. We're going to move on. We're going to talk about Eliza. I hate politics too. So, Eliza, she married Charles at a young age according to today's standards. I say today's standards because if you're going to ask her how old she was when she got married, don't expect numbers like 12 and 14 from the colonial times that she came from. So think of today's standards, and I bring that up because her husband, Charles, was over double her age when they married. There's a creepy age gap back then, creepy age gap now. So kind of put that in the back of the brain. But she married him because her father was over in England. He thought he was dying. He was trying to bring all of his kids home one last time. Eliza didn't believe he was dying, so she stayed put and got married in 1744. You don't get married in that year to get a green card. We're not a country yet. So she did marry him out of love, and there's no poking the bear on this one. There's no foul play with the marriage, just so you know. But anyway, she was right. Dad didn't die right away. Instead, we started sending her gifts from England to where we're standing now. One of those gifts happens to be the plant seeds of indigo. You guys have been in town for at least a day. You've seen the word indigo somewhere around Charleston. Indigo is a plant that makes blue dye to make a perfume. That's how we use it today. We still use it. However, she didn't know what to do with those seeds. She got them again. She had to learn from her slaves how to keep them cultivated. It's not always warm here. And then how to make the dye. She figured it all out. She moved it to a cash crop plantation, got a hold of her dad, and said, rice plantations are going downhill for us. We're going to make a killing with this indigo. Now we have an international businesswoman during the colonial times. So, again, that's the boring business shit of Eliza. Let's get into the weird stuff, because that's what you guys do. So, questions that we commonly get the answers to. So with yours, we're going to keep things nice and simple because you haven't really heard anything yet, at least that you've blurted out. I know you've been really focused on me and trying to pay attention, but again, we're going to keep things nice and simple. The mansion's not here. What happened to it, and if you get an answer, when did that happen? I also want to point out with spirit boxes, don't get frustrated if you don't get a direct answer to your question. There are other people asking questions, and we have literally 6 different communication devices working tonight. So 2 spirit boxes, 2 video cameras, my voice recorder, and my word generators. The answer can go anywhere, so kind of keep that in mind. That's why you need to tell me all the little silly things here. You never know what's going to show up. TV shows always use one device at a time, and kind of like rubs me the wrong way just because, again, you're not going to get any communication. That's why we keep sponsors. What happened to the mansion, and then when? The other pieces you can ask her about, like obviously the marriage piece. So we're going to keep things nice and simple for you to get started and kind of see how you do with that one. With yours, dude, I want you going after Eliza's death. So she's really open about it. So you can ask her how old she was, what she died from, where she's buried, what president was called her, everything. So if you decide to go rogue and ask your own questions, please tread lightly with this location. This is a prominent English woman that needs respect, otherwise nothing will happen. So again, I haven't looked at my EMF detector yet to kind of see if anything goes on. I want to explain this before we actually start spreading around and start asking questions. So like I said, this measures electricity inside the air. If you were to put this behind your TV set, it's going to read about 40 to 60 milliamps. The microwave running and heating up the food is going to be 150 to 170. The average spike for this location is between 18 to 22. That's half the electricity that comes off your TV. And that's an average spike. We have seen this guy go well over 200 in here. It's the highest spike I've ever seen at 214. It's like putting your head inside the microwave. So that was an investigation, part of the tour where we actually left. So again, I can't have that much electrical with a seizure disorder. So that's just too much in the air for me. So that's why I took this first. So until we get used to the readings, it's reading at zeros right now, but I'm going to do a couple of laps and kind of see what's going on with your guys' devices as I walking around and take notes. But otherwise, see what actually happens here. You guys ready to do this? Let's get the spirit boxes cranked up. Looks like both cameras are already recording. Anybody walking through, you get it, move your cameras out of their way. So let's spread out, let's have some fun. This is why you're here, to stare at parking lots. Ethan's like, holy shit, he brought us to a parking lot. Oh, that's 321. With these cameras, with that one specifically, I don't always follow up with it in real time because I do splice all the videos together and make it and turn it into a YouTube video, so that way you guys can watch it on whatever you want to. I watch it on a large computer screen. So if I don't follow up with you as much, it's because your camera's small. I don't always expect things in real time.
Follow you.
So
that makes sense.
The infrared camera is even smaller. It's a GoPro. It's been altered for ghost hunting, and that's even smaller. So when I blow it up on the screen and I actually find things in it, people are like, "Oh my god! Like, how the hell did you find that?" Well, I watched it on a large computer screen, so that's how I found it.
I can understand that.
Okay, Eliza, you got to give us some answers tonight. Nice small group. Out of there.
25 cents.
Okay. So when I look at that, keep in mind your spirit box is slowed down. So what color is a big red barn? Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer. I don't need all of the Rudolph the nosed reindeer. I just need the red. So when you give me things like 25 cents, I only write down 25.
Okay.
Because that's what's going to make sense to me.
Okay.
I know cents and cents is different senses, but you get my head. 52.1. good sign. At least we have something. I can definitely see we've got something going on because these were not the same readings from last night. So, I mean, my head is actually hurting a little bit, but again, it's not like, oh my god, this has to change. So, keep track of it on your feet, and that much is hurting. Crap, I am not good. You don't know what I'm doing.
More involved at church.
Last night I tested all the lights to see if they were giving things off their solar panels. So it's not giving off like a whole lot. So it's not 100.7. I should just see what I'm looking at. Now it's down to 0, of course. So it's gonna randomly go 89 down to 3. Like that's craziness. Like, that should not happen with man-made objects. So that's definitely something going on here. And right now I'm only writing down things about 25.
Dark.
My readings are off the charts. Are you getting anything crazy?
I got a George.
Pretty good at this, man.
I keep hearing.
Yes.
I keep feeling like I get responses as I ask.
What did you ask when you got the name George?
You're asking about just her,
I was asking if she could tell me more about her.
and then right after he said, "What's her husband's name?"
I just had readings like I had one that spike was 100.7. So in my head is actually hurting a little
Death.
bit.
I heard death.
She keeps getting like these weird darker terms. But the George did die as a casualty. So there is a George involved, and I'm going to go over all these answers here in just a minute.
A minute ago, you were asking about, can you tell us more? And he said, yeah.
Yeah, I was like, can you tell me more? Yeah.
With the readings that I have in my head hurting a little bit, again, I don't normally put my health into this, but again, unless I feel like we need to probably move. But let's go right back to the back again and go over all the answers. So Ethan, you got anything? So just get a nice long shot of the alley. 1600. That's definitely weird. It's not relevant, but the number 16 might stick out to me later on if something pops up. So definitely write that one down. I'm gonna check the word list real quick and tell you exactly why we're here. Word secret. So again, the word list is just kind of an additive. It's not like something that should be relied upon solely by itself. So, welcome to Philadelphia Alley. This is what used to be called Dueler's Alley. So again, we're just here to kind of stir shit up. Every tour comes down here and tells the same story. I'm going to tell you the same story, but in a different fashion because you're ghost hunting. You need different details. This isn't campfire marshmallow time. So, let's get into it. There's a doctor that moves down here from Rhode Island. His name is Dr. Joseph Brown Ladd. If the two of you, one of you hears the song Brown Eyed Girl, which comes up here all the time, it's part of his name. It's relevant. It has to be that lyric, though, because he's not going to know the song because he's from the late 1700s. So anyway, Dr. Ladd moves down here because he's supposed to get married to his fiancée, Amanda. Amanda just inherited a bunch of money from her dead parents. She has an attorney helping her out with all of this cash. The attorney thinks that Dr. Ladd is just after Amanda's money, so he tells Amanda, get rid of the doctor. By the way, we do have our friend Remy, the rat, that kind of likes to roam around this area, so if you get freaked out about rats, sorry, you're in a scary place, right? So, yeah, I'm not going to move just because you're afraid of rats. That's kind of how I roll. I have one lady, scooting all over the place, dancing. I'm like, he's in the ivy. He's fine. Leave him alone. He lives here. We're invading his space. So anyway, Dr. Ladd comes to Charleston to prove that he's not after her money, and as he's coming into town, the coachman that brought him in set him up to be robbed and killed. The guy's dressed pretty well because he just graduated med school and looks like he's got some cash. Somebody's walking by and sees what's about to happen. His name was Ralph Isaacs. I stop on Ralph because he has the same initials as where the doctor came from. So we do get the letters RI on spirit boxes all the time, which is a weird set of thing to hear on a spirit box. So that's part of the reason why I bought that Ouija board device. It works off of EMF. And as I was explaining this, I think it was either last Thursday or Friday night, the letters RI literally appear on it, like on cue. So I was super stoked. And that's like the 5th time we've had it in the past 6 months that way. It's part of the reason why I bought the device. Anyway, back to Ralph. He tells Dr. Ladd, dude, you don't want to stay here. I know this guy. He's going to try to kill you. He's got a gunman inside, and you look like you got some money. Come with me to 59 Church Street. You can rent a room from some friends of mine, and you'll be safe and good to go. Took him up on the offer. They became friends. The longer the doctor stays here in Charleston, the more money he's making. He's proving his point that he didn't want Amanda's money. So he becomes known as the Whistling Doctor, because Amanda's moving down soon so they can get married. Now, every haunted city you're ever going to visit in the future is going to have a cliched whistling ghost. I'm just going to put that out there. We're going to talk about the proof of this guy and how to debunk a lot of it at the end. Anyway, Ralph and Dr. Ladd go see plays together. They can't sit next to each other because the doctor makes more money. He gets better seats. There he goes.
Oh, I see him.
Yep.
There he
comes
is.
Ratatouille.
I named him Remy. Yep. Actually, I think my daughter named him Remy. She was on the tour one night and saw him. But anyway, so where was it? Oh, the sitting next to each other, right? The doctor makes more cash, so he gets better seats. But on the way home from seeing Richard III one night from Shakespeare, they're arguing over the new actress. Dr. Ladd thought she was great. Ralph didn't. The argument turns into Ralph insulting the doctor's fiancée, Amanda, back home in Rhode Island. It gets ugly. They go their separate ways. Ralph is from here. Oh, he's been here a long time. So he goes to his friends at the newspaper, and he puts an ad in the paper telling the whole city of Charleston what he thinks of the doctor. Kind of a, you're a disgrace to society kind of mentality. The doctor saw the ad and rebutted with, let's go to Dueler's Alley. We're going to settle this shit and somebody's going to die. So they came down, they took their 10 paces, they turned, the doctor pointed his gun in the air, and he shot. He didn't want to kill his friend. He just wanted the courage and bravery to show up to the fight, which is often what happened at a duel, and you already knew that if you've ever seen Hamilton. However, Ralph has his one bullet. He puts it in the kneecap on the doctor. Dr. Ladd doesn't die, but Ralph proved his point. He's still pissed. The doctor drops to the ground. His friends picked him up, carried him home to 59 Church Street, where he dies 10 days later after refusing medical treatment. So, he refused medical treatment because gunshot wounds in 1786 aren't the same as they are now. So he probably tried to bleed out the lead poisoning himself. So he's a doctor. Kind of keep that in mind. Every tour in town is going to tell you to listen for the whistles while you're down here. Listen how quiet it is. It is like this on a busy Saturday afternoon. Don't ask me how or why, but it is. It is definitely creepy. I keep looking down to see, make sure there's nobody coming up over here. But we do have 2 cameras running right now, plus my voice recorder. You don't actually have to listen for whistles audibly in real time. That's the fun part. There might be something in the background of one of these pieces. So, we also, on the spirit boxes, we do get the word whistle, and we'll get whistling parts of songs. So there's a lot of little clues relative to Doctor. We had Brown Eyed Girl, right? So we have the number 59, which shows up here all the time. There's some specific things about that house that will show up, either here or later on when we're actually closer to it at the end of our night. But there's a lot of little weird clues about Dr. Ladd that will show up while we're here and at the next space. So, with the whistles, if you're going to try this on your own and walk down the alley and turn on your voice recorders from your phone, just keep in mind every local knows the story. Anybody walking up and down Cumberland or Queen throws a whistle down the alley. I do it every single night. We passed up my garage on the way here, so I have to pass the alley to get to my car. When my daughter was with me, we just raced to see who's going to throw the whistle first. It's just something we do. However, I always throw that whistle since I got kicked out of here, which is why I keep looking down the end of the alley. So let's get into why I got kicked out, because that's the fun part of this whole part of the tour. Okay, Remy, we get it. So calm down, little guy. He's almost as big as my dachshunds.
Yeah.
It's pretty big.
He's a big fella.
Did you see him?
I saw him earlier go up the tree and then go up the tree.
This alley didn't go all the way through this way. There was a wall that was cut off halfway between us and Cumberland Street. The reason why is because this used to be where they kept the livestock for the city of Charleston. So, again, it was called Cow Alley back then, where cow shows up here all the time. But that means the bricks on that side of the alley are older. They're sun-dried bricks from slave children. There is a full handprint from a slave child at the end of the alley, and some fingerprint swipes from other kids on the other side, like off to the side of it. I used to always take my groups all the way through to go show off that brick, but I treat that brick the same way I do a grave. That kid's not there. It's the last place you're going to find that kid is staring at that damn brick where his handprint is. So, trying to shoot my group along, it was on November 26th of 2020, because I know the kid's not there, and second, it's right outside the kitchen window of the beautiful mansion at the end of the alley. I'm just trying to be respectful. However, I didn't know I was out of bounds. The new owner of the mansion came out screaming. My daughter thought it was great because Dad's getting yelled at. We moved on. The next day was Thanksgiving. I don't tour on Thanksgiving because, again, I think you already know I've worked in retail management for 20 plus years, mainly for Walmart. So, again, you can understand why I'll never work Thanksgiving again in my life. So, Ethan's like, I'm down with that. I hear you.
Yeah,
So,
I can imagine.
the next day was November 28th. I had a partner back then, and I called him up, and I was kind of like telling him what happened. And he's like, dude, you can't go down that far. You're only allowed to go down halfway. That's the cutoff point. Or you got to reroute your group and just skip it. So I told my tour that night, I'm going to tell you the story outside the alley, but we're going to reroute. I told them also I didn't believe in the next story because I'm a vampire guy, not a pirate person. So again, the next story is pirates. However, I had never had anything happen there before, numerous occasions with different cameras, EMF, you guys get it. So, before we left, somebody heard the name Anne on a spirit box. I didn't tell them who we were going to be investigating. The famous female pirate Anne Bonny. So, I said, all right, we'll see what happens. We get down there. Remember, I need 2 clues to be able to verify something's going on. Another person, here's the number 300. I don't know what that means in real time, so I write it down. Same way I just wrote down your 1600. We get over there, and well, the next morning I do the research, and we were there on November 28th of 2020. Anne Bonny's trial for piracy was November 28th of 1720. We were there on the exact 300-year anniversary. So my shoulders shrugged, and I went, shit. Now I got to learn about pirates. So the reason my problem with pirates as a writer is that it's all lore. There's not a whole lot of factual things. So what we're going to be discussing at the next location came from a minimum of 2 resources. Half my library at home right now is books on pirates and how to debunk all the lore. So again, there's been a lot of research that has gone into this, but it's also a hit or miss location. So it's either going to be super active or nothing at all. It's just one of those spaces. Anne Bonny is said to be seen all over town. The hope is that she's going to be there at the same time that we're going to be there. I know you would think that that's a normal thing, but the Pinckney Mansion site is active for me at least 6 out of 7 nights a week. That's like bare minimum. Again, it's mostly 7 nights a week. Anything crazy going on with that thing, Ethan?
No, sir.
Like, you've been focused, man. I was like, maybe he's got something.
No.
And he's just not speaking up. So, with that said, we're going to be walking up to around St. Philip's Church in the Powder Magazine. We're going to just stay out of the other tours way.
It's something about kudzu. Kudzu. Yeah.
Like a climbing, like a this, I thought.
Invasive plant that they brought in to stop or soil erosion.
Really?
Yeah, it's choking out Alabama.
Okay.
It's a weed. Yeah, I knew it was a weed.
Yeah.
Alright, so there's Dr. Liga. We usually get it in doubles, just so you know. It's his birthday, July 7th.
Okay.
So, Murphy, we're going to be talking about an Irish woman. So I don't know if Murphy has shown up here in the past. I just didn't find a relevance last time, so it just means I got to think a little bit further this time to see if it's relevant. I'm going to put that 7 under Philadelphia Alley, just because that's where it's from. And then I Am Hungry. And Sean Murphy.
Yes, Sean Murphy.
I don't know who the hell Sean Murphy is, but we're going to find out. So again, weird stuff like that. Names and numbers usually don't lie. You guys noticing this, right? So I'm like, oh, number 7, perfect. There are 2 cars in here, so just be mindful. People may be coming out of the church when they go to their cars. They get a little weird. Actually, let's move up this way a little bit further, just so we're not.
Oh. Matt said he heard a dog.
Heard what?
Dog. Oh, that's a
That's a palmetto bug.
You said you heard a dog.
You're not exactly right.
Sure, she's Doc with a CK at the end?
Like, what's up,
He's
dog?
a big one.
Not what's up, but it sounded like.
Yeah, I get it.
I thought it was something rolling with us. Like there was a bug.
That's Remy Jr.
That's it.
Emmy's friend.
That's what Emmy's chasing around. So, we're going to be discussing that little tiny building over there with the crosses on it. First off, those are not crosses, those are earthquake bolts. If you're not from here and not sure what those are, they're basically turnbuckles. So if you turn them, after an earthquake, it tightens up the building so the building doesn't incur any further damage. It's a great idea, it just doesn't work. You guys have seen earthquake bolts all over town. Even this apartment building behind the Powder Magazine has them in between every single floor. So it's just part of our Charleston charm. They're on most buildings down here. You guys have seen them in lion heads and pineapples and all kinds of crazy bullshit touristy stuff. So that's what they're actually meant for, and that's part of the reason why we're here. So those earthquake bolts specifically were put in because that's the first set of earthquake bolts that Charleston ever put in, because that's the oldest government building in South Carolina. So they needed some way to protect it. Keep in mind that the earthquake was in 1886. I don't think those bolts were put in until 1889, maybe 90. But this building dates back way further than that. We're here because this building was being constructed at the same time that Anne Bonny came here to start a new life. You guys watch the TV shows where they use the teddy bear to attract the child ghost?
Yeah.
It's the same principle. This is something she would recognize. This is what I call a familiar. Same thing as that teddy bear for a child ghost. So this building was finished in 1713. So this building took 10 years to build. Does that sound like our government? Small building, 10 years? No, not at all. Our history piece, actually begins right in the middle of its construction. So 1708, you guys gotta follow me on this one. There's a lot of twists. So, young lady moves here from Ireland. Her name is Anne Cormack. She comes here with her father and his mistress. The mistress is Anne's mother. Are you with me so far? The three of them are running away from her father's angry wife. How pissed was she that the three of them had to leave the country by boat to come here? That's a long trek, so gentlemen, don't piss off your wives, girlfriends, whatever these young ladies are to you. But anyway, they land in Georgetown. Dad bought a plant. Georgetown is between us and Myrtle Beach, if you're not familiar, so it's about an hour north drive. So Dad bought a plantation, but Mom died pretty quickly. So that means he has to send young Anne down here to sell anything from the plantation to help keep things afloat. Let's take another step back to Ireland for just a sec, because they say Anne was a badass even back then. At the age of 7, 8, 9 years old, remember this is pirate lore, they say she killed a servant with a knife to the belly. We have had the term servant, knife, and belly all show up in the same evening on our spirit boxes. So, and it was like from 3 different, and it's been several times. So, fast forward, the building's done in 13. By 1715, pirates are coming through Charlestown. Anne's pretty stoked. Why? She's gonna fall in love so she can earn her freedom, just like a man. The man's world. First guy she falls in love with, I said first because there is a handful, and we're going to go through all of them. First guy is James Bonny. You already see where this one's going? Obviously, he's good. I'm surprised she's actually going over there. Normally she goes to the front of the building. And she's going to be loud too, because that's what she is. I don't have a whole lot of friends in this industry, can you guys tell? But anyway, James Bonny, again, this is the guy she marries. Dad didn't approve. They ran away to Jamaica, got married. Anne Cormack is now Anne Bonny. That's where her name came from. However, James Bonny is not the Captain Jack Sparrow she was hoping for. This guy turns out to be a privateer. He's a spy for the British. He's a coward. This is not who she wants. A few years go by and she falls in love again. Guy number 2, John Rackham. They call him Calico Jack. I'll explain why later. But Jack is the guy that they based your Johnny Depp character off of, just so you guys know who this person is. So, he has his own ship, he has his own crew. Anne wants to be part of the crew, but you can't put a girl on a pirate ship. Does anybody know why?
It's going to cause a mutiny at some point.
It's bad luck.
Bad luck.
I was going to say, keep it simple. Family friendly. Normally when there's little kids on the tour, I get the parents that are like, really? You're going to ask that question? Just making sure you guys are all paying attention. But I like mutiny. That one works too. But anyway, it's bad luck. So he makes a deal with her. If you dress like a guy, you can look like the crew, be part of the crew. But you're going to be a female in my quarters. She's okay with this because Dad used to cross-dress her as a boy apprentice to hide her from his wife back home in Ireland. She gets it. Let's be a pirate. But we're all adults here. Put 2 and 2 together. She's a female in his quarters. She's eventually going to get pregnant. You can't have a pregnant pirate dude on the crew. Somebody's going to figure out that she's a girl. And then they're going to get Jack off the ship. They're going to vote him off and get a new captain. So Jack drops her off in Cuba before she starts the show. And he says, go have the baby over here, come back later, and we'll figure it out. She goes and has the baby, but returns with no child. No amount of my research has told me what the hell has happened to this poor baby. We've gotten some answers out here, but again, it's completely speculative. But she comes back dressed as a female. This makes Jack pretty angry. Now everybody's going to know he let a girl on the ship. While she was away giving birth, he captured another pirate crew. They're down below deck. Anne's going to go flirting, because that's who Anne is, to make him even more mad. We're on guy number 3. Guy number 3 turns out to be a female, dressed like a guy to be part of the pirate crew that Calico Jack captured. So now we have 2 females, dressed the same way as men on the same ship. Her name was Mary Reed. She went by Mark Reed to become a pirate. So her and Mary became friends, possibly lovers. We're not going to really ever know for sure. But the British found out where they are. They send a fleet of ships to come take down one measly pirate ship. The rumor is that Anne and Mary were the only 2 pirates not drunk enough with their 1-bullet flintlocks to come up and fight. They probably don't know how to use cannons yet because they haven't been pirates for very long. Obviously, 2 ladies with flintlocks are not going to take on a whole fleet of ships. They get arrested. when they're being arrested, she looks at her captain, Jack, and she says, "Jack, I'm sorry to see you here, but if you would have fought like a man, you wouldn't be hanged like a dog. That's why I asked you if you were sure that you heard the word dog." So,
yeah, I heard dog.
So, because the word dog will show up here quite often. It is a very famous quote by Anne. But anyway, the judge wants to see the two quote-unquote men that fought back so violently on their own. He's already tried to hung Calico Jack and the drunk pirates that wouldn't fight, Anne and Mary go in front, reveal their gender, hoping to save themselves, and the judge doesn't give a shit that they're female. He's still going to hang them because they're still pirates. So, we plead our bellies was the last thing they shouted out, because you can't hang a pregnant woman in 1720. It's illegal. So he sends them both back to jail, delays the hanging. Dad is still up here with his Irish money in South Carolina. He bails her out, brings her home. She remarries. That's husband number 2, but guy number 4. We're going to count Mary. We don't really know. Has 4 kids, dies at the age of 84. We don't know much about her after her pirate career. Keep in mind, this is the 1700s, and she was 84 years old. That's 14 years older than Eliza Pinckney at 70. So, Mary Read dies a few months later, literally, from whatever pirates died from in Jamaican jail. So we don't really know for sure. Most books will tell you that it was something simple like fever. I'm going to say, let's make it romantic and call it scurvious and nasty and gross. Why the hell not? It's pirates. So a couple of things I left out of here on purpose, because you guys know how to ask questions by now. I left out the names of Anne Bonny's parents on purpose, so that way you had something to work with. Other questions you can ask would be the name of Calico Jack's ship. Make sure you don't call it a boat. That is a very big insult to a pirate. A boat is more like a dinghy to them. They want a ship, or a vessel. That one would work too. I left out the name of the city where Anne Bonny grew up before she came here in Ireland, so that will come through. And the color of her hair is red. We do get the color red here a lot. And the funny thing is I just started using that question about 6 months ago when somebody was struggling with a spirit box, and we got the answer through a REM pod, which actually works off of color. So I asked, "Hey Ann, why don't you just tell us what color your hair is?" I was trying to give the person a one-syllable answer, and we got the answer on the REM pod. So I was like, all right, maybe it's just from where we're standing. We moved to another location, same thing on command every single time. So it's kind of like we had her all night long. No EMF readings came about, but you guys get the picture. So we will spread out in this location. I'll be watching the EMF. Is anybody like super comfortable where they want to use the EMF in this location too? So with this, obviously we have a tour in here. It's just weird because we normally have the whole space to ourselves. I don't get excited about EMF on the front half going that way because of the electrical poles in the corners, parking meters on the other side. So anything above 2.5 on this back half is basically what I'm interested in. This is not a space where we get a whole lot, so don't be too disappointed if you don't get anything at all. I say 2.5 because natural EMF from the Earth is up to 1.1. And the 2.5 is the second green dot on the blinky light device. So that way we kind of have a point of measure. But again, 1.1, I want to at least double that because that's natural. So you're going to see a lot of little points. That's the fluctuation of the Earth. So again, I study a lot of this weird sciencey shit even though I'm a writer. You would think English would be my bag. It is, but now I have to turn into science and math to make sure the equations are all correct. What have we heard since we've been standing here? Anything?
Fire.
Fire?
I just heard fire.
Keep getting that one. Anything coming out of yours?
Nothing.
Nothing crazy? You were really focused on this.
I was focused on you, so I'm ready to...
we're up to 45 terms, and I don't see a whole lot of anything, to be quite honest with you, based on our location. So yeah, just be careful what you're carrying. I will say, like, when we passed that police car earlier, the word car crash. Well, it's very interesting. It's not anything, to me, like, super whatever. But you guys get my point when I'm like, oh, maybe he's going to see a car crash. You know what I mean? Yeah, no, he didn't have his lights flashing. But again, I'll keep an eye on this guy, kind of let you guys do your thing. Again, we're going to stay out of their way for sure. All that other cars leaving, so we're going to have the whole space, which is awesome. Any other major questions about pirates? Because I've read a lot of damn books on pirates. Blackbeard does have history here too, so every once in a while we'll get a little piece of Blackbeard stuff going on with your guys' devices too. So, so just kind of keep that in mind. What's the history? He actually would dock. Well, first off, he raided Charleston looking for medicine because he had syphilis from one of his 14 wives. So that was a big blockade that he did on the harbor. But he actually used to dock here, and he would let his crew come in, and they would actually go to the pirate house, which is on the other side of the cemetery. And they dug a tunnel from that pirate house over to where Dock Street Theater sits now because it was a poorhouse back then. So obviously there was a tunnel there, and they just filled it in like 1993. So again, it was a legitimate thing. But he would stay on the ships with obviously with one, maybe one of his wives that came to visit or whatever his wives were at, but he would stay out there to watch his ships on the water. So the Blackbeard's men would actually go to the place, we call it the Pirate House, but their Dock Street Theater, it used to be a horror house then. It was called Planters Inn, Planters Hotel. So again, there's a lot of pirate lore around this corner. The other piece in the cemetery behind us is a captor of a famous pirate, William Rhett, who caught Steve Vaughn. So he is actually buried like on Church Street here. You can actually touch his sarcophagus, like it's that close to the edge. So he doesn't come through. I used to talk about him, but we would never get any like relevant things, so I just took it out.
He's got Mista too. I know, that's right.
Especially pirates, right? Alright, so let's carefully spread out and just be mindful of what the hell they talking about. There we go. I like it. It's weird. What do you think? You think we get things out here?
No, not really. Nothing more than like 10, 15 degrees.
I meant in general, because you were the one that came here because she wanted to come. I meant the whole experience as a whole.
Oh yeah, it's fine.
So,
Yeah, it's fine. I'm having a good time. This has been a lot more fun than everything else I've done today.
Okay, take that. Well, I wasn't fishing for compliments.
No,
It was
no.
more like
I understand. I'm not trying to blow smoke. I'm just saying I'm enjoying it.
I'm excited about a couple of things that showed up. All those readings with the Pinckney Mansion, her hearing the number 7, which is common over here. Like, these are regular things for me. I wanted her to experience something for sure, but she's dead focused. Though.
Yeah, so she's super focused. She's taking this very, very seriously. She's very
should.
serious about it.
Still have to show that it's fun.
Oh yeah, it's fine, but
And she has the one that's recording, so she's going to get that same one back again. And I hate to say, like, she being the female of the persons that I gave a spirit box to, that's why she has the recording, because I was expecting Matthew to do better in real time. So I've just noticed males do better with it. I normally would give it to my chatty Cathys in the group because they just want to talk my ear off and say, all right, let's get you listening to something.
yeah.
But that doesn't always work out.
Yeah.
But when I designed this, I made sure like the history was accurate for those that were, like I said,
Yeah,
I don't want to say
interesting.
dragged, but
No, no.
I want to make sure you have a good time too, but I'm still going to give you a simplistic job so you can at least kind of contribute.
Yeah.
I love how she's so laser focused waiting for it.
Yeah. She is.
You got to be hearing something by now.
Heard landslide twice,
Okay.
and from the side once.
From the side, landslide, and I didn't write down the fire.
I know for sure I heard landslide twice.
It's definitely directional. The whole piece seems directional. So fire, landslide, from the side. Like everything seems like it's telling us how something happened. I don't know what.
Yeah.
Man, it's just a lot of people walking through here. Like it's Tuesday, people. Go to a bar or go home. I want the pretty bag.
I heard police.
Cool.
Do you think?
No, I haven't seen anything yet.
Fire. I heard fire again.
too. See where
Okay.
your shadows are at. So the shadow is an absence of light. So for a LiDAR detector, it's like something of depth. That's why it picks up shadows. It debunks a lot of shadows.
That makes sense. Yes, I did see that.
Rebecca. I love how she's so focused. I love it. What do you got?
Heard fire again.
Fire again.
Yeah.
You also heard police.
Oh, police. Yeah, I heard police over there in the corner.
Take another lap.
Okay, yeah, let's do another lap. Writing in the dark is on my resume now. That one's actually a lot of fun to watch, and that's if I have just two people. Lately, I've been asking like, "Hey, which cameras do you guys want to use?" Now that I have three to choose from, but that was
Yeah.
kind of like my staple.
This is like your go-to to hand out.
Yeah. Well, it's an upgraded something that you can't get on an app.
Right.
5975.
59 is the address of where the doctor lived. 59 Church Street.
Dr. Evans.
Thank you, Dr. Ladd. So again, I don't need the Evans. I just need the doctor to
Right.
tell us. So I'm waiting for something else specific about the house since you have the address. I'm not going to tell you what I'm looking for, obviously, but things will pop up. Dr. Ladd, we appreciate you. Anything else you want to tell us about your address would be greatly appreciated. He did hear the word pirates coming out of his earphones. Like, that's not a common thing to hear on the radio. The word pirates. Unless, of course, the Pittsburgh Pirates were playing.
I don't keep up with baseball.
I don't follow sports, so. See what he's got when we come back around. We may have to call it on this one. Got a couple things about the doctor. He's got things specific to piracy. Anything coming out of there?
I don't think so.
Okay. How's your camera work? Anything?
No, just the book.
It's going to look like this. It's 2 ply. So just pull up on the center where the nose piece is, and there's a place to tear so it doesn't go all the way around your head. It's going to go over your ears. So that's what you guys know what these look like. When I take them, we'll talk about the history. I'm also going to take some noise canceling headphones so you guys can get a feel for what those look like. You don't need to put any of this on until we come back. Because what's going to happen is we're going to huddle around you pretty close in case other tourists come by. This way they're not going to get the whole thing blindfolded.
Makes sense.
So get a feel for those and kind of get a time with everything that we do, just because this can be very disorienting. So again, when I tap you with your family members, tap you out, don't feel like this is also a time where it's okay where repeat those yes/no answers. You don't need to shout either. I definitely want you to try to whisper. We can hear you. So again, those people want to shout. Also keep in mind, tell us what you hear in real time. Don't try to remember 10 minutes of shit. We want this on recording because I'm going to be asking questions, and we want live answers. So that's basically the whole point of this. Once you get everything on, you can start right away. I usually give about 30 seconds before I start asking questions. But you're going to put your spirit box off to the side so we know you're not messing with the volume. So again, once you get everything set and squared away, So this is going to be any major questions. Does everybody understand why we're doing it this way?
Yes.
So I definitely want you guys huddled in closer. So we're going to stay pretty tight to them because again, other tours like to come through here and they like to stop right there. So again, I don't need them seeing them blindfolding my people in the middle of the night. So go ahead.
We're gonna have the earphones,
Both earbuds.
and like max volume, or just where we can hear.
Whatever you're comfortable,
Okay.
and then you're going to put the noise canceling over top of that. So it's mask first, earbuds, headphones. So family members can help with those headphones if you're going to have trouble, because again, they're still relatively new, so they haven't been used a whole hell of a lot. You guys figured out the blindfolds?
Yeah, I think
Yep, you got it. Ooh, on both sides, huh? Perfect. Earbuds? It's okay. You can hand your stuff. I'll hand you the headphones.
How are we supposed to hear you?
You're not going to. That's the point.
Okay.
He'll catch on.
He will. Hands out. Yeah, you got it right the first time. There you go. This way? Yep. And then when you put it on, pull down. It'll spread out.
There we go.
Perfect. There. Line turned up. Like I said, I usually give them about 30 seconds. It is 10:37 right now. And I also won't write anything down, so I'll watch the video again. I just want to make sure I'm staying focused because I also focus on their breathing to make sure.
Ready.
Okay, thank you for that. Henry's here. Thank you for that, Henry. If you are indeed Henry, please tell us your first name. Can you tell us your first name? Henry Timrod, what was your occupation? Make this nice and easy at first. Sometimes they don't know that they're supposed to tell me things in real time.
I think he knows.
Okay. Henry, tell us what your occupation
We
was.
don't care enough.
Oh.
Who is we? How many people do we have here? How many people are here that we cannot see?
Rid of the light.
Henry Timrod, we want to know what your occupation was.
You getting anything, Matthew?
He can't hear you.
5.
5. How many people are here with us?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
What?
Are you hearing anything?
You know, you're supposed to tell us what you're hearing. Henry Timrod, what is your occupation?
President.
Sounds like he's being a little bit of a smart aleck.
Not necessarily. There is Andrew Jackson's mother's memorial is over there.
Huh.
So, can you tell us which president you're referring to? What is the name of the president that you're referring to?
How it feels. 800.
Tap him and let him know he's supposed to be tapped.
Are you hearing anything?
What?
Are you hearing me?
No. It's like white noise and like just flips of words. Like not even whole words.
Okay. Just want to make sure you know to tell us what you're hearing.
Yes, yes.
Okay. So we did get an answer that there's
Listen
5 people.
carefully.
We are listening, Henry.
Did you find him?
through the same series of questions I always ask.
I don't like to go there.
Okay. What do you want to tell us about? You want to tell us what was wrong?
Tongue stick.
What was wrong with you?
2, 3.
2, 3 is the date of the son.
What was your son's name?
Henry. Do you want to tell us your son's name?
Tragic.
These are pretty vague, Henry. Let's be more specific. Maybe tell us what month.
Turning.
Tell us what month your son passed away. Gave us the date. What was the month?
Called upon the Father.
It's 4 minutes in already.
Said I'd be at home.
You weren't at home, were you? Henry? Be more specific,
I
please.
was in the hospital.
You were in a hospital. What was wrong with you while you were in the hospital?
So busy. Powerful matching technology.
What were you doing in the hospital? What was wrong with you?
Drag it out a little longer.
I am dragging it out to 10 minutes, Henry. That's all we're getting. This is hard for us on the living. You haven't told Matthew over here anything.
7 o'clock Houston time.
What were you doing in the hospital? Let's get an answer to that. That's very specific. What kind of illness did you
Houston time. 200.
Why were you in the hospital? He's not giving us
Who
any.
is
I thought he would have. I thought he would have done really well.
Why don't you want to talk to Matt? What was your son's name?
Henry, we're running out of time for you.
that can do lots of damage.
We're running out of time for you to give us answers about your life. One good solid answer will make this night. You did
32. Big fire.
Yeah.
She always
Keep coming.
Keep coming. Can you give us an answer what your son's name
Hunt
was?
them down.
Put what down?
hunt them down.
Souls out.
Do you not like the other ghosts that are here? Oh, this is always fun. Henry, tell us what you're hearing right now. What are we hearing? What's coming from the church?
$3.
What's coming from the church? We can get this answer all the time. It's wonderful.
Open a pipe to the spirit.
What? There's somebody over there.
There's like a ton of instrumentals.
So, the one thing you actually gave us was a direct answer, and it's something we've been playing with. You gave us a lot of, like, they were answers, but they were, like, possible answers, like, nothing super specific. You did give us the number 5, which is something that I commonly hear when we ask how many ghosts are here with us. The number 5 has happened before, so I wasn't surprised at that. Actually happy that you heard the number 5. So you said the name John Bell. We asked Henry what sound was playing right now or what was coming out of the church. The church bells were going off. That Ouija board device, we've actually seen the word bell being spelled out for us when we've asked that question. Or we've had people say, I just heard like church bells. The actual sound of church bells. But you said the name John Bell. Yeah, John Bell. So we asked what's coming out of the church right now? John Bell. So we have that bell piece of it. Do I count this as a success? Not necessarily. I normally look at a minimum of 4 direct answers before I'm going to call this a success. One thing. Again, to me, it's still not coincidental. We didn't have any EMF because I was kind of glancing at that from time to time.
We just got a lot of like music, like and then like I don't know what it was saying.
You shook your head a couple times.
It just kept saying I don't know.
And you did give us the number 2, 3. That was the other piece where I was excited about. We didn't ask the direct question, but that's the son's birthday of the gentleman that we were talking about. So you guys are going to know the history tomorrow when you guys get your links and listen to your regular audio. Again, we were dealing with a writer who lost a son at only 9 months old. So it's kind of like a tragic tale to end the night.
You said that at one point.
Yeah, you did say tragic when we were asking about the son. Because when you gave us the 2, 3, and I told them, like, hey, he did die on October 23rd, we kind of pursued that a little bit, and you said the word tragic. So again, it could possibly be part of that. I'm looking for those more specifics.
Anybody have was anybody like of Spanish descent or Hispanic descent? Like, would that have been anything relevant?
No, he was a native Charlestonian.
Okay, because I heard a voice several times, and it came through like in a sentence with a Spanish accent.
Okay.
Anyone on the square? Any monuments on the square? Oh, you said president.
Yeah.
You
Andrew
said-
Jackson's mother has a memorial over there, and we will get things relevant to that from time to time. But again, I need at least 2 things before it's going to be super relevant. That's why we even asked, like, what president are you referring to? We were waiting for you to say Jackson or Andrew or something along those lines. But again, I wouldn't call this a success, just so you know. But again, it's always fun to experience. How do you guys feel? It's usually the first question I ask.
I was uncomfortable for the first half of it.
Yeah.
But I was also cognizant that I was blindfolded and it was white noise, so it was just like...
It takes away those other senses. That's the whole point. It's supposed to heighten your sense of hearing, so that way you can focus more.
And so for the second half...
perfectly still.
Yeah.
The second half I felt more like, okay, and more was coming through. Because at one point I was about to take them off and just be like, I'm done.
Yeah. It's not
It was
easy.
weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was weird.
So that's the fun part of it.
Yeah. So I was like, let's just stick it out.
But can you imagine somebody who didn't listen to a spirit box all night?
Oh yeah.
And then them going under? It does not go well.
Yeah, I can see that.
They're like, I only hear
I at least
radio.
knew what I've been listening to.
Right, so that's the whole point. So just want to make sure you guys don't feel disoriented or anything like that. You guys look fine. I was watching your guys' breathing. You guys both did fine. So this is, again, without any kind of craziness going on or any kind of success, I'm going to say let's call it. Like, this was our last stop. So I'm going to go ahead and stop the audio at this point so you guys know how much data you're going to get back. Oh, look at that, 75 right on the dot.
Wow.
Again, that happened the other night too. It's kind of like, all right. Oh, that's right, you guys showed up super early. I'm like, it's 10:50, really? But you guys showed up at like 8:30, so 2 hours and 11 minutes. Again, I don't time this, we just go. So that definitely means you're going to get for probably 5.5 to 6 hours worth of media coming back to you. What your data page looks like tomorrow morning is everybody asking me about my investigations. Those are the podcasts at the top. I also wrote a field guide. Not everybody gets a thermal imaging camera or a spirit box. So the field guide literally walks you through every single thing inside my bag of how to watch it with examples or how to listen to it with examples. So if you get stuck or want to see some actual evidence from other tours, you can do that. Your data stays on my website for an entire year. Today's what, the 18th? So we're getting closer to the end of the month. Every report I write is about 5 to 12 pages long. So try to get to your data in the next couple days because it's all downloadable. So the videos go to YouTube, obviously, the audio is MP3, right-click download, my notes with links, copy, paste into a Word document, and it brings the links with it. So that way you don't have to keep revisiting my website and scrolling through the month of April to try to find your data. So again, I make everything nice and easy for you. And again, it's going to be a lengthy report, but I do score every investigation based on what happened in real time and my findings in the spot check. And that rating system is on the field guide as well. So you can see like there'll be a number in your conditions. Again, it might be a 35. This is about average, but I will tell you that the EMF readings that I found over there, those are more points based on my scoring system. So this might actually turn out to be above average of what I normally see just based on the high EMF we had at the Pinckney Mansion site.
Cool.
So questions, comments, concerns?
No,
this is
that's
cool.
awesome.
Is this what
was
you guys
fun.
thought you
Yeah.
signed up
Yeah,
for?
this
Yeah.
Because again, you
Well,
guys are a pretty
personally-
quiet group.
Personally, no, because I was just soaking it all in. It was cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
I'll
enjoyed
take
it.
your camera
Yes.
first. So, but yeah, we'll walk together.
Awesome.
So that way I can get you guys at least back to where you guys need to be, closer. Earmuffs first. I'll take those because those go in together. Well, you got these all tangled up. Good job. There we go. So the Estes thing that we just did, I just started doing like 6 months ago, and again, some people do really well with it, and then this was kind of a mediocre. We had some vague things, but other pieces were like, oh, definitely 5. I've had that before. Ethan, what questions came out of you, man? What do you got?
I got nothing. It was pretty neat.
Yeah.
Well, I'll take that. But again, a lot of people still have questions about like the cameras and things that they use, or like that kind of